Thank you, Honorable Chair, and thank you, distinguished Senator for Baringo County. It's also my professional senior, actually both of you. Chair, starting with your inquiry. Yes, curiously, suspect Mackenzie was released under Section 210 without even being put on his defense. Even if he had been charged with a very serious offense under the Prevention of Terrorism Act, that is why we are saying curiously. As you look at law reform, Chair, part of our ability to control this space of dangerous crimes, wherever they come from, dangerous crimes coming from terrorists, from bandits, from drug traffickers, and those who meddle with the public health and safety through selling drugs and psychotropic substances, whether the dangers are coming from religious extremists and fundamentalists like your committee is handling. We must look at what else that is not in the available Kenyan and international laws that responds particularly to this issue of religious extremism and dangerous doctrinal impartation of our populations. And now recommend either through a miscellaneous legal amendments of miscellaneous laws, the Penal Code, the Prevention of Terrorism Act, the Prevention of Genocide Act of 2008, and so forth. You can have a miscellaneous statute law amendment on all those laws, including the Criminal Procedure Code, Count 75. That is one way, so that whatever is unique about religious extremism that you pick from this inquiry can be processed through a statute law miscellaneous. And that will bring on board also the regulatory bodies like the Registrar of Societies and so forth and so on. And in that endeavor, we must, as a country, if we have to save the future, because we have already lost the present. And I am saying we have lost the present, Chair, because losing hundreds of people is a great loss to the country. Even lose one person who is lost to a criminal is a big loss to a country. I know of countries that even go to war with other countries because of the loss of one soldier. But I think this country, I don't know what has happened. We look at some of these things as natural. You know, people have died. We're just excavating every day and counting bodies of children and women and men. And it's as if it should be happening. So we must escalate these criminals who are hiding in religious spaces and package them to where the most dangerous criminals are kept in our laws and under international law. And this issue of people being released on cash bail when they are being suspected or they are being processed of very serious crimes, we have to look at it. I'm now handling a request. Kenya is handling a request now on the repatriation of someone who has been in a foreign country for the last 20 years under detention in I can even name the country, the United States of America, one of the most, the people say is one of the most democratic countries in the world. A Kenyan national who has been under investigation for 20 years. 20 years. since 2003 for being suspected of terrorism. And after 20 years, they have cleared him. I would rather we take precaution and save the society than to be too liberal. And then our work is to bury people's children, spouses, relatives, as if it's a casual thing. So when we do the statute, as if you find that an approach, the punishment bit must accompany it, and also the procedural rigor attached to the dangerous crimes or people suspected of dangerous crimes in the religious space and those who are doing indoctrination. That is my view. To respond to, you also asked whether we should have a new genre of offenses. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe because in the process of this inquiry, you're going to discover things we may not be aware of, because this is a special moment and this has not happened before. And by the way, Chair, since Kenya's independence, this is the worst security breach in the history of our country. This is the greatest attack on our national security in Kenya's existence. Is that serious? So, as you process this, because it's a unique moment that you're talking to so many people, you might want to create a new genre. But I submit that we have enough laws. We just need to enforce them. This country, Article 2.5 of the Constitution says that all international treaties and conventions to which Kenya is a party are part of the laws of Kenya. So we enforce international law in our courts effortlessly. Part of the laws includes the laws on terror, the prevention of terror, which are international treaties we have signed, including the 1999 convention, UN Convention on the prevention and suppression of terrorism. It's part of the law of Kenya. Kenya is also a state party to the United Nations Convention on the prevention and punishment of the crime of genocide. Looking at all the facts in the Mackenzie matter, genocide is all the 4 ingredients of genocide can be proved, even when you are closing your eyes. Now, the Genocide Convention, as it is called, of 1948, is part of our law. So why bring another law? You just enforce it because of Article 2.5 of the Constitution that enables our judges to apply that convention, which treats those crimes in that manner. But I don't rule out new ideas that you will capture as you talk to people. Finally, on what my senior, the distinguished Senator for Baringo, has asked, I agree. He should have at least the facts. He should have assisted those who are making decisions to make sure that at least this person is put on defense. So part of the problem, weak attention by the ODPP on some of these very serious threats to national security, these serious crimes, but also the judicial part is an important thing. I note also with surprise, unless I am informed otherwise, that no appeal was ever lodged against the acquittal. Because if he was acquitted by the magistrate Malindi under Section 210, a prosecutor should have gone to the High Court and appealed against that acquittal. It has never been done. Let me put it this way, Chair. We are staring at a huge crisis as a country until when we realize that we all live freely, work in this country because it is safe and secure to do so. And put security where it belongs. Security first. All these other things, you can transform the economy. You can do many other infrastructural development, but a country can come tumbling down once because of security issues. And I think we have not reached there. And finally, the issue of land ownership. I believe, Chair, if this committee will have, in its wisdom, decided to recommend legal reforms, whether through standalone statutes or through statute law amendment bill, in line of what the distinguished Senator for Baringo has suggested, which I support, owners of land must be visited with vicarious liability. It is an old principle. For the lawyers in the House, the rule in Raylers versus Fletcher must apply to owners of land. You are an owner of some bush, some land somewhere. It is your responsibility to make sure, because it's private property, and you know they are, because again of freedoms, even security agencies are limited in what they can do in your space, in your house. They must have a reasonable reason. They must even get a search warrant sometimes because of the right to privacy. So this is your private land. We will not violate it, but you must also take responsibility for what is happening there. It cannot be a hideout for dangerous criminals, and then you come waving title deeds and telling us this is your private space. It is your private so long as the law and order is established and respected there. So part of the amendments could even come through the penal code, but also through even the land laws. There's nothing wrong with the land laws, even having a bit of responsibility, even visiting liability on landowners, because it's a huge problem. I agree with Senator Steptumo, and perhaps that is something the committee should consider as part of the legal reforms for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.